It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and here we are about 7 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. That's right, Monday. Unmistakably Monday. Who knows what kind of mayhem we will run into this week? You never know. Boy, so much to talk about this morning. Wow, this should be a very, very interesting week. Let me say, before that, okay, let's see a show of hands. How many people did holiday decorating this past weekend? I'm sure a bunch of people did. I know that as of like last night, there were Christmas lights on more houses than there were on Friday. So I assume that a lot of people did a bunch of decorating this weekend. We did too, as a matter of fact. Dragged out all the boxes from the garage and from the upstairs closet and from the closet in the office. And I'm really going to get a little more organized on my Christmas stuff there. Anyway, that's always fun. It really is fun. This is really the beginning of the holiday season, and you gotta love it. Absolutely love it. Well, let me see, what kind of a week have we here? Well, we have, let me see, Thanksgiving is coming up Thursday, and I believe, at least I've read in a number of sources, I didn't hear on the weather forecast this morning, but I read on a number of weather sites that we are expecting some pretty nasty weather Thursday and Friday. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. You don't know. This is Western New York, so you never really know. And what else here? Friday, that's right, the day after Thanksgiving. The 8 o'clock hour will be just a little different. I won't have a show Friday, and there won't be any Newsmaker Friday. So what will we have instead? Well, we will have, this should be really, really good, very worth listening to. Bill O'Reilly will be interviewing President Donald Trump for an hour. And that'll be during the 8 o'clock hour on Friday morning. So that certainly will be worth a listen, I'm sure. What else here? Oh, also, a regular Friday guest on the Newsmaker program, AU's Dr. Robert Heinemann, will be here on Thursday morning at 8:30. So Thursday is Dr. Robert Heinemann, and Friday it's Bill O'Reilly and President Donald Trump. Isn't that neat? It should be a really, really interesting 2 days here. Okay, well, I see that Michael Bloomberg is officially in the presidential race. How do you like that? I'm trying to think. Let me see. Of course, the Democrats don't like him because he has a lot of money, and anybody with a lot of money is evil. I get, okay, fine, that's what they think. So I'm trying to think, who would he choose for a running mate? How about Bill de Blasio? Hey, Bloomberg and de Blasio. I think that would be an absolutely great ticket. Okay, let's see. Well, where do we start here? Let me see here. This, I'm not the biggest fan of U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer, but I think this is a really, really good idea. Remember what happened to Friendly's relatively recently here in Hornell? One day it was there, and the next day it wasn't. Just like that. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody knew it was going to happen. All of a sudden, bang, it was gone. Well, it wasn't just the Friendlies in Hornell, but a bunch of Friendlies in upstate New York. All pretty much on the same day. And U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer has introduced it's called the Fair Warning Act of 2019. And he says it would put an end to surprise layoffs for many workers. Surprise, you're laid off. So I think that's a great idea. Schumer says the bill would close a loophole in the WARN Act, W-A-R-N, the WARN Act, which allows smaller companies to avoid notifying employees of closings and layoffs. Specifically, the legislation would lower the WARN compliance threshold from 100 employees to 50 employees and create a requirement that any company with $2 million in payroll must abide by the WARN Act. And it would define a site closing as a shutdown that results in an unemployment loss of 5 or more during a 30-day period. And it would define a mass layoff as a reduction of force 10 employees at a single site during a 90-day period, or any layoff that impacts 250 total employees within an organization, regardless of how many of the layoffs happen at an individual site. And there's more details, I guess, It would create an enforcement mechanism which holds bad actors liable for back pay and benefits for each calendar day of WARN violations. So Schumer is urging his colleagues to adopt the legislation so it would be a national thing, not just here in New York. So I think that's a very good idea. I mean, how, you show up at work and all of a sudden the doors are locked. It's not the first time that's happened in Hornell, by the way. So you show up at work and the doors are locked and you don't have a job anymore and you had no idea what was coming. Well, this would require warnings, okay? You have to tell the employees that this is coming. So I think that's a really good idea. And where is this? This is great. This has been on CNN and Fox News, the New York Daily News, Wham Radio in Rochester, WHAM, and a bunch of other places. Oh, this is so cool. There's an 82-year-old lady in Rochester. She's a bodybuilder. And there's a photograph of this lady, and while she isn't awfully big, what would the word be? The definition. Okay, she has really good definition. And she can deadlift, She can deadlift 225 pounds. So for an adult male to deadlift 225 pounds really isn't all that big a deal. But if you're an 82-year-old lady and she looks to be slender, I think that's quite an accomplishment. So anyway, this guy comes knocking on her door and he demands entry. And after knocking on her door and demanding it, now this lady lives by herself, 82-year-old lady, by herself in Rochester. Okay. So he's banging on her front door, and he demands entrance. And she says, no, I don't think so. It's really not a good idea. He breaks down her front door, right? Okay. So it's at night, and somebody's banging on your front door. I don't care if you're in shape and you're 35 years old. If somebody's banging on your door at night, you're going to get a little tense, I think would be the word. So he breaks in her front door. Now, as I said, this lady works out at a local YMCA almost every day. She's 82 years old. So when this guy breaks in, she goes for it. She uses all kinds of household items to attack the intruder, beginning with her own table. So she picks up that table and smacks him with it, right? And breaks the table. So then she uses one of the metal legs of the table to keep hitting this guy. After jumping on him a couple of times, what's her name? I should have given you her name. Willie Murphy. Willie Murphy, that's her name, Willie Murphy. So after jumping on him a couple of times, Murphy ran into the kitchen, grabbed a bottle of baby shampoo, and squirted on the man's face as he tried to get up after being hit with the table and the metal leg of a table. So he's trying to get up. So after she squirts this baby shampoo on this guy's face, she took a broom and whacked him a couple of more times. So by that time, as you can well imagine, the intruder was ready to leave. Though Murphy said she can deadlift 225 pounds, she struggled to drag the man out of the house. Except he's dead weight, right? That's 225 pounds of dead, is different. Dead weight is dead weight. It's laying there. So she says, he wants to get the heck out of there, and I'm trying to help him get out of the house, but he's too heavy. I can't move him. So she had already called the cops, 911, right? So the cops came in. He's laying down already because I had really done a number on that man. I'm serious, I guess. So they put the guy in an ambulance, and he was probably only too happy to get in the ambulance. Because if he was there much longer and the cops hadn't came, who knows what would have happened. So congratulations to this 82-year-old lady in Rochester. Boy, you ought to see this photograph of her. Boy, she's just, yes, sir. She's wearing a tank top that says powerlifting, WNPT powerlifting. I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't think I'll argue with her, okay? Wow, I thought there was pretty something. Okay, what else here? Oh, yeah. Here's something you really wouldn't to think about all that much. This is in New York City with all the skyscrapers. Despite the, quote, massacre of birds that conservationists say is thanks to glassy towers in New York City. Governor Cuomo on last Wednesday, rejected a bill that would have created the council to study buildings' risks to birds. So it would have created a 15-member council within the Department of Environmental Conservation. But in his veto, Cuomo said that the costs associated with doing that would not be worth it since their work would just confirm what experts in the field have already established. So Cuomo says that we know what happens. We know what happens. Birds get hurt. And they're studying it anyway, but they don't need this 15-member council. So here's, let me see. Conservationists are so hopeful the governor will pass another bill that would require that glass installed on newly constructed or altered buildings be treated to reduce bird strike fatalities. And get this, anywhere from 90,000 to 230,000 birds estimated to die each year from striking New York City skyscrapers. 90,000 to 230,000 birds are estimated to die each year from striking New York City skyscrapers. That's according to New York City Audubon. Birds often mistake or misinterpret glassy reflections of trees as their actual habitats. So they pick up speed and fly to where they think is safety and crash into buildings, breaking their beaks, wings, backs, cracking their skulls, damaging their eyes, suffering concussions, conservationists say. So this bill, I don't know. So I don't know how much it would cost to retreat all those windows. I don't know how expensive it would be, but I imagine with probably millions of windows in these skyscrapers, man, that would be pretty expensive. Anyway, but he rejected it. He says, we already know, and it's just going to confirm what we already know. So, I don't know. Okay, fine. That's that one. And then we have, okay. If you have $1.3 million laying around, and you don't know, you look in your couch cushions, you look in some, spare drawer or something like that. If you have $1.3 million laying around, you could buy your very own lighthouse. Lake Ontario Lighthouse Bed and Breakfast can be yours for a mere $1.3 million. It being sold by Sotheby's International Realty. Now, this Lighthouse Bed and Breakfast, let me see, it's at Braddock Point Lighthouse. It's called the Braddock Point Lighthouse Bed and Breakfast, and it sits above the shores of Lake Ontario in the village of Hilton, right? That's northwest of Rochester. It's one of the few privately owned working lighthouses in the United States, and Don and Nandy Town have owned it for 10 years. And their daughter and son-in-law manage the place, the bed and breakfast. You should see these photographs. This is just eye-popping. Wow, color photographs of the interior of this place. And the exterior, too. Anyway, let me see. It's it has been meticulously updated and cared for with more than $695,000 worth of upgrades. It has 6 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms. The property is offered fully furnished with more than $200,000 worth of antiques and furnishings from around the world. So, the possibilities are endless here. Up until 1956, it was built in, when was it built? 1895, I think. Yep, it was built in 1895. Anyway, up until 1956, it belonged to the government, and officials had plans to tear it down because the lighthouse was becoming obsolete. But at the last minute, the lighthouse was put up for auction, and some family bought it. They owned it for 30 years and sold it to another family in 1986, and that family sold it to the people who currently own it. So, there you go. The owner says his place is truly a 5-star resort, and judging by these photographs, boy, I guess so. Anyway, the Braddock Point Lighthouse is west of Braddock Point in an area known as Bogus Point. Now, why is it called Bogus Point? Well, it's known as Bogus Point because it was a drop-off point for counterfeit smugglers coming across Lake Ontario from Canada. How do you like that? That's why it's called Bogus Point. And let me see. Anyway, the Coast Guard maintains a lighthouse lens, Although it's automated, the Coast Guard comes once or twice a year to check on the light. And there you go. It's 5,589 square feet, and it sits on 1.15 acres. And as I said, it could be yours for a mere $1.3 million. Oh, it also has a resident haunted dog, a ghost dog lives there, this guy says. So anyway, there you go. Okay, insurance. If you own a lighthouse, hey, you need insurance, right? Everybody needs insurance. Everybody needs insurance. You can't get around it. How about, that's right, the Ryan agencies? You can do no better anywhere than the Ryan agencies. They have offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville. They are independent. In other words, they are beholden to no one insurance companies. They have all these insurance companies at their disposal. And they will work to find the best company and the best rates for you. They are insurance experts. They offer sound, unbiased, friendly advice. And as a matter of fact, they have their new newsletter out. It's called Holidays 2019. And I have it here in front of me. I don't have time to really read. This is really, there's a recipe. 7 tips for protecting your home from fire. Can I keep my home insurance premiums from increasing in 2020? And there are more insurance tips, and it really, really neat stuff. The Ryan agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In the NFL, checking Week 12 action Sunday night, the 49ers took care of the Packers 37-8. San Francisco now 10-1 on the season. They had a 23-0 lead at the half and cruised to victory from there. Their defense got the job done, holding quarterback Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay to 20 completions for just 104 yards. Green Bay now 8-3 with that loss. In late action, the Patriots get by the Cowboys 13-9. Patriots are 10-1. Dallas falls to 6-5. Titans over the Jaguars 42-20. Ryan Tannehill, quarterback for Tennessee, 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing. Tennessee right now at 6-5 is tied with Pittsburgh, Oakland, and Indianapolis for a wild card spot. Early games of note: Saints on a last-second field goal edge the Panthers 34-31. New Orleans is 9-2. Seahawks are 9-2. They beat the Eagles in Philadelphia 17-9. Jets with a surprise of the day, rolling over the Raiders 34-3. The Bills down the Broncos 20-3. Buffalo is 8-3 now on the season.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks falling as investors sifted through a slew of earnings reports today, with the Dow falling 19 points, the Nasdaq down 49, S&P 500 down 3. And shares of plant-based meat company Beyond Meat were far from sizzling today on Wall Street, falling over 22%, marking the end of Beyond Meat's lockup period. For the first time since its IPO, early investors can sell the stock. Now, despite the sell-off, Beyond Meat reported a much bigger profit than expected for its third quarter. Shares of Mattel spiking after hours, around 18% after the toy maker posted better than expected earnings for the third quarter as newer models boosted demand for its flagship Barbie brand, and the launch of dolls based on Korean pop sensation BTS lifted international sales. Mattel also announcing it will be hiring a new chief financial officer in the wake of a whistleblower investigation relating to its accounting practices. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. And right now, get your first online visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/joy. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. forhims.com/joy.
Today at the Simmons Rockwell Nissan stores in Horseheads and Hornell, you'll find new 2019 Nissan Sentra SV models with alloy wheels, cruise control, and Bluetooth for only $15,999, or new 2019 Nissan Titan S Crew Cab 4x4s with a 5.6-liter V8, rear view monitor, power windows, and cruise, now only $32,499. See the savings online at simmons-rockwell.com.
Okay, and we are back. This I got from the Buffalo News. Let me see, how much time have I got? Okay, fine. Lancaster Schools, the Lancaster near Buffalo there, Lancaster Schools fire doctor for rejecting girl's request to join the JV wrestling team. A girl's request to join the JV wrestling team. Okay. The school board on Saturday, this past weekend, voted to fire the district's chief medical officer after he refused to allow a 12-year-old girl to compete on the junior varsity wrestling team, confirmed Patrick Uteg, school board president. Now, Dr. Michael Terranova of Lancaster DePuy Pediatrics was fired during a special session of the school board at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. The board's action came after Terranova rejected a request by Trista Blaze, B-L-A-S-Z, I guess is Blaze, a 7th grader at Lancaster Middle School to participate on the district's junior varsity wrestling team. The district's chief medical officer rejected her request based upon his own inappropriate findings regarding the ability of female athletes to compete on teams with their male athletes, UTEC said in a district statement. We like to ensure that all students in Lancaster have the same opportunities with respect to female and male athletes. We should be encouraging, empowering, and really celebrating female athletes, little girls, young ladies. Women can do anything that boys can do, so that's what we stand for. And this Dr. Terranova is gone. So, okay, this is going to be highly inappropriate in these times, okay, in 2019. So maybe I'm sexist. And you could accuse me of being sexist or misogynistic or engaging in stereotypes or unenlightened or at worst, I guess, old-fashioned. But, you know, 12-year-old girl wrestling boys. This is so inappropriate, I know. But it's true. Maybe, I guess I am old-fashioned. But it may be new, inclusive times. Maybe new, enlightened times. This is the age of empowerment, right? So girls can do anything that boys can do, boys can do anything that girls can do, fine. But, it may be the age of empowerment and enlightenment, but we are the same old people. Right? And while she can wrestle boys if she wants to, that's fine. I just don't think it's all that hot an idea. If you get my drift. As I said, new times, same old people. I know a lot of people, well, talk about it among yourselves. Talk it out. Do you think a 12-year-old girl should be allowed to wrestle on the boys' JV wrestling team and then have the doctor who wouldn't let her be fired? I think that's pretty wrong. Okay, that's it. That's it for this morning show, and I will see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.